Ladies, men, and gentlemen, round one is in the books. Rugby League is back, but the question marks remain. There are so many things that we can get into in terms of positives, negatives, and that will come in time. But before we do any of that, there are lessons that need to be learned. And today I'm going to tell you 8 things that we learned following round one of Rugby League football. Now, I want to highlight that this will not include the Bulldogs, Knights, Cowboys, or Dragons, so there's the little caveat there. We're on our way to 2,000 subscribers, so if you are new, make sure that you do subscribe. It does help the channel grow, and we will be doing a giveaway once we hit this illustrious milestone. And don't forget to get your comments in the video below and let me know what you think, whether you agree, disagree, you want to punch me in the face, whatever it might be. I want to hear about it. If you are a douchebag, no problem. I'm happy to fight with you too. Anyway, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight into the 8 things we learned following round one of the NRL season. Number 1, the Eels were paralyzed. Storm 52 Eels 4, an absolutely terrible performance from the Parramatta boys. And 5 months of off-season, you get the fans optimistic. Obviously, we had the Zach Lomax saga lingering in the background. It only got resolved a mere 3 days before kickoff. And you can't help but wonder whether Parramatta Eels are a little bit distracted. Well, I just can't put my finger on it. But nonetheless, Melbourne were brilliant, led by Harry Grant, who was comfortably the best player on the field with 2 tries. He ran the game. He was dangerous out of dummy half. He's got his forwards on the momentum line. He was just fantastic. David Forlogo also, his first time deputizing at fullback since Ryan Pappenhausen's exit of the Melbourne Storm, and he had a really solid performance, a piece of brilliance leading to a fantastic try. But Parramatta were just gutterless. They were rudderless. They were a car without an engine. It was just such a disappointing performance. And the ones I feel gutted for are the Parramatta fans. Parramatta need to be a lot better. They managed just 1 try after Melbourne had already had 12 men on the field with a sin bin. 0 fight, 0 attack. The Parramatta Eels need to be a lot better if they're having any ambition of securing a top 8 berth this year. Number 2, Latrell is a centre. The Rabbitohs were emphatic in their 40-30 victory over the Dolphins. Latrell Mitchell moved to centre. I heard Mick Ennis say in the pre-match that he thought it was the wrong move, mate. He got to move that Latrell Mitchell back to full back. All jokes aside, I thought Latrell looked really good at left centre. And I disagree with Mick Ennis's assessment there. He's one of the brilliant minds of rugby league is Michael Ennis. But I thought his assessment pre-match was a little bit wrong. He called for Latrell Mitchell to be at fullback. He said he's not a busy type of fullback, but that's just the style of fullback he is. I disagree. If you want to have a fullback, if you want to be a fullback, you need to be busy. That is part of the prerequisite for being a number 1. Latrell Mitchell floats too far in and out of games. He's far too inconsistent. And as a result, you're asking him to do so much running for a big body that he just then has limited ability to make an impact. I think Latrell Mitchell looks really good at left centre, and this is where I really disagree with Mick Ennis. It's not up to Latrell Mitchell to get his hands on the ball. It's up to the halves now to get Latrell Mitchell quality ball, and they did that. I thought Latrell Mitchell looked really damaging. His first try in particular was Latrell Mitchell-esque. It was just reminiscent of his performances in State of Origin for the New South Wales Blue. I thought that Jai Gray justified his position in the number 1, scoring a brilliant try, showing a brilliant amount of speed as well, chasing Jake Averillo when Cody Walker could be accused of match fixing, putting it basically straight into the former Bulldogs' hands. But nonetheless, I think this is the right decision. Latrell Mitchell, 2 tries. He had a few kicks as well. Bunny's attack clicked. Things looking really positive for the Rabbitohs and Latrell Mitchell. Number 3, Ethan Sanders answers Canberra's questions. Jamal who? You don't need to ask that question anymore, Canberra fans. You have found your replacement. Ethan Sanders securing a golden point victory for the Canberra Raiders in an emphatic fashion, kicking the field goal to ultimately win the game. I want to say on Canberra, a lot of fans have written off the Green Machine this year. I can't seem to understand why. They were minor premiers. Yes, they went out in back-to-back sets. But let's not forget the nature of the loss to the Brisbane Broncos in the first round of the finals in 2025. Canberra had that game won 3 times. It was just luck had it. The football gods, whoever you believe in, had it written in the script that the Brisbane Broncos were meant to win the competition. Canberra, the only question mark heading into this year was, can Ethan Sanders or anyone replace Jamal Fogarty? And I think what Ethan Sanders demonstrated is he can perform under pressure. To kick a field goal in that fashion, this is a young man early in his NRL career. He had a really solid performance. And Canberra, their backline, oh my word, enough to make a Mandrill is the equivalent of making a Mandrill over Margaret Robbie, is that Canberra backline. Absolutely magnifique. Really exciting for the Canberra Raiders. You have found your number 7. Number 4, Broncos in a world of pain. Do you see what I did there? I hope you did. But in all seriousness, the Broncos were, again, another rudderless performance. Broncos 0, Panthers 26. Taking nothing away from the Panthers. They were really good, and we'll talk about them in just a moment. But this is the first time Brisbane have been held scoreless at Suncorp since 2020. A woeful 61% completion rate. The Broncos were lacking in any level of professionalism, lacking in any level of high performance. Their application just simply wasn't there. 42% possession. You can't win games of rugby league with these sorts of numbers. And they ran for only 1,244 meters, more than 500 meters short of the Penrith Panthers, who were victorious. 37 missed tackles, 19 errors, 8 penalties conceded. Only 1 line break all game for the Premiers elect. It's not good enough. Adam Reynolds particularly, a lot of question marks will be raised on the number 7 coming out of this one. 6 missed tackles. He couldn't get the attack sparking. Reece Walsh was limited, but again, I don't blame him for that. I think the Broncos forward pack got defeated. Their real discipline put them on the back foot. Payne Haas, who's arguably their best player, 125 meters. Now, all things considered, that's a really good, that's good numbers, but for Payne Haas, who sets a much higher standard, not quite at the gates, and he wasn't supported. So Brisbane, there's lots of murmurs coming out around Michael Maguire, and performances like this are simply not going to put those questions to bed anytime soon. They're going to need to bounce back real quick in round 2. Number 5, the Roosters' defensive woes leave serious questions. The Roosters conceded 42 points against the New Zealand Warriors. Leaky edge defense in particular, missed tackles everywhere. The question marks were, can Daly Cherry Evans and Sam Walker work well together? I can't tell you yes or no after this game because both players didn't cover themselves in glory. Lots of missed tackles, new combinations, and it just didn't work. No reason to panic if you're a Sydney Roosters fan, but yeah, it wasn't something that the Roosters will be the Roosters want to be putting this performance behind them very quickly, and they've got a good chance against the South Sydney Rabbitohs on Friday, which now shapes as a blockbuster game. The Sydney Roosters will not want to go 0-2 heading into to start their NRL campaign, so they'll be looking for a big bounce back against the arch rivals. Number 6, Warriors are dangerous, but are they finals bound? As we were just alluding to, there's 2 sides on a game of football. We can be critical of the Roosters, but let's praise the Warriors. They were fantastic. I want to put so much praise directed towards halfback Tanner Boyd. He scored 1, he set up 2 more, he kicked 6 goals for an 18-point haul. He was a true difference maker. Now, when you consider that Luke Metcalf is due to come back from injury around the round 10 this season, it leaves Andrew Webster with a really healthy headache. Can you put these 2 players together? It's a healthy headache to have. Don't know. Maybe Metcalf will have to work his way back in. But Tanner Boyd, he's really grown into that number 7 shirt, and the way he performed against a team that, let's not forget, most people have as their NRL Premier favorites, should not be ignored or have their shoulders shrugged at. Tanner Boyd, well done. If you put the Warriors outside of your top 8, I'm going to say that you're a really brave individual because the amount of attacking flair in this side, it's about consistency, but they're really exciting to watch, the New Zealand Warriors, and they can beat any team on any given day, as round 1 may already tell us. Blowout scores is an NRL indictment. In all things considered, the blowout scores over round 1 have been nothing short of appalling. 2 teams hit 50. We're in the Melbourne Storm and the Cronulla Sharks. The Rabbitohs hit 40. And we're seeing margins of 48 points, 40 points, and 26-point victories in round 1. It's not right to rugby league fans to be waiting 5 months of off-season. You get optimistic, you want to get behind your team, and round 1 hits, and you see the Titans getting destroyed. And you see Parramatta gutterless. And you see the Premiers get dominated by the Penrith Panthers. I'm not convinced that this is a quality issue. It might be, But I think this talks about a bigger problem around the 6 against. There's just no consistency there. And I can do a whole separate video on the 6 against, but serious questions need to be asked about the officiating and also about the overall spread of quality across the NRL, including whether the salary cap is actually serving its true purpose in spreading talent, or is it simply a case of allowing the strong teams to hoard talent while the lesser sides are left with what's left and therefore put their salary cap in all sorts of trouble. Number 8, Panthers make a statement. Panthers 26, Broncos nil, dominant 58% possession, 73% completion rate. That could have been a little bit better, but this is where the Panthers really impressed me. 1,832 meters run, 37 tackle breaks. That is insane. They held Brisbane to only 1 line break, 0 points conceded. It was a complete shutout, and the performance of round 1. Absolutely fantastic from the Penrith Panthers. They fell short last year, but I think that was a case of fire in the belly. It's really hard after 4 premierships to keep getting up. I think the Panthers have that fire back. Now that they are no longer the hunted, but the hunter, I think that the Panthers are right in the race when you're talking about NRL premiership contention. And if this performance is anything to go by, they just put the current premiers to donut. Cleary, Dylan Edwards, Isaiah Yo, there is still so much talent in this side. And with a spine like that, you can never ride the Penrith Panthers off. And they are a terrifying proposition for the NRL. I think they just put every other NRL side on high alert. Reference I want to make here. Thomas Jenkins, what a monster he was. 2 tries, 202 run meters, 8 tackle breaks. Fantastic. Dylan Edwards was electric as well. Nathan Cleary was terrific, but you know those guys. Thomas Jenkins on the wing. He didn't play in the final series, so I thought that he covered himself in glory and is now justifying his first grade position. So well done. Between him and Paul Alamoti, they are spoilt for choice in terms of depth. So congratulations to Thomas Jenkins in his performance, and well done on to the Penrith Panthers. And just on a little positive to finish the video on, Alex Johnston is on the verge of history. It's not something that we've learned, but Ken Irvin's all-time NRL record of 212 tries has now been equaled by Alex Johnston. The next time this legend crosses the try line, he's going to break a record. The NRL have come out today already and warned fans against flooding the field. I personally think it'd be terrific. I think what an endorsement for the game it would be to see fans celebrate with one of their legends, to see him break a record that has been held for the longest of time. No modern player has come near it, and I just think that the NRL could be doing more to recognize that. You see the scenes coming out of European football when you see a football side has been promoted into the Premier League or Serie A or whatever it might be. You just see the fans rushing to the field. The players never end up hurt. No one ever ends up in a really difficult situation. I know they're saying the right things by saying don't flood the field, but man, if we want to promote this game, we need to create scenes and memories that appeal to wider audiences. Anyway, I thought that was a little bit disappointing, but on a positive note, I really hope Alex Johnston can break it against the Sydney Roosters. What a scene that might be. I will be at that game, and I really look forward to hopefully seeing Alex Johnston breaking a record. I have no horse in this race. I don't have a cock in the race, and I don't have a bunny in the race either. So nonetheless, really exciting for Alex Johnston and the Rabbitohs fans, and I hope that he is celebrated in due course. Anyway, there you have it. There are the 8 things and a half that we learned following the round 1 results. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Make sure you leave your comments in below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. I've been Larry. You can follow me on Instagram, on TikTok, on X, all that good stuff. We'll see you soon on the way to 2000. Enjoy your rugby league and get out of here.